This morning we returned to our roots with our anthem. It's a medley of a couple of very familiar songs that you knew, most of you sung since you were small. Power in the blood, and then Are You Washed in the Blood? There'll be words on the screen when you're supposed to sing, so I want you to sing full and strong. Last Sunday we talked about singing and learning to sing in perfect harmony. This morning we're going to see the proof in the pudding. So when we get to those points, I invite you to sing with joy, sing with passion. Praise the Lord for the power of His word.
Father in heaven, we thank you that Jesus died for us. So that no matter what the obstacles are that we face, if we'll keep our eyes on Him, it'll be okay. No matter what the problems that we confront, we're going to keep our eyes on Him. No matter what the opposition is that comes against us, our eyes are on Christ. We know His supernatural intervention for us at the throne of God by that blood. Connect the power of that blood with our needs this day as we thank you for Christ and the opportunity to learn about Him this morning. In Jesus' name, amen. If you will, turn in your Bibles to Jonah chapter 1. We're going to be spending some time in Jonah, just a couple of weeks. Here's a question for this morning. If you had 5 minutes with Jesus, what would you ask Him? Suppose His administrative assistant. Do you reckon Jesus has an administrative assistant? Suppose His administrative assistant called you and says, the Lord is going to give you 5 minutes. What would you ask Him? What would you ask the Lord? Where is Jimmy Huckleberry? The big question. Will the Panthers ever win a Super Bowl? How many believe yes? How many believe no? Are there really UFOs? No. We wouldn't ask those questions. You know what we'd probably ask? You'd probably ask Him something that's pressing upon your heart, which you want to know His will. God, what do I do? That's probably what you'll ask. 43 years of ministry. Over and over again, people have come to me and said, Pastor, I want to know God's will. It's the number one question that people ask. Now, they don't say, what's His will? They say, what do I do? They mean, what is His will? Even children want to know God's will. I read some questions from children. Listen to these questions. Dear God, did you really mean do unto others as they do unto you? Because if you didn't, I'm going to fix my brother. Here's another. Dear God, I went to a wedding and they kissed right in church. Is that okay? Dear God, did you mean for the giraffe to look like that, or was it an accident? Here's the one I really love. Dear God, thank you for the new baby brother. But what I prayed for was a puppy. Even children want to know God's will, don't they? What is God's will? It's very simple. It's God's plan for your life and for this situation. How can I honor you right now in the situation I'm in? What can bring you glory? What is your desire, the way you want me to handle this? Now, here's an interesting thing I want you to file away because I found it to be true. When people come to me and say, I want to know God's will, you know what I hear them saying? They're not really saying they want to know God's will in order to do it. They want to know God's will in order to consider it. Amen? You're not going to know God's will unless you're willing to do God's will. Not just consider it and entertain it. So I want to take 3 weeks now, and I want to talk about God's will for 3 weeks. From the book of Jonah. Today, I want us to understand how you know when you're out of God's will. Sometimes we get out of God's will and we don't realize it. And I want to show you how God showed Jonah he was out of his will. And that's today's message. So let's look together at that scripture. And let's read starting in verse 1. I'm reading from the New King James. Now the word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai, saying, Arise and go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry out against it. For their wickedness has come up before me. But Jonah arose to flee to Tarshish went down to Joppa, found the ship going to Tarshish, and he paid the fare, went down into it to go with them to Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. But the Lord sent out a great wind, underline great wind, on the sea. And there was a mighty tempest on the sea, so that the ship was about to be broken up. Jonah said, I'm not going to do God's will. Look what happens. Then the mariners were afraid, and every man cried out to his God and threw the cargo that was in the ship into the sea. Don't think that your sins will not cost other people. But Jonah had gone down into the lowest part of the ship, laid down, and was fast asleep. That's how we know he was a Baptist. So the captain came to him and said to him, what do you mean, sleeper? Arise. Call on your God. Perhaps your God will consider us so that we may not perish. And they said to one another, come, let us cast lots, that we may know for whose cause of this trouble has come upon us. So they cast lots, and the lot fell on Jonah. And then they said to him, please tell us for whose cause is this trouble upon us. For what is your occupation? And where do you come from? What is your country? And what people are you? And he said to them, I'm a Hebrew, and I fear the Lord, the God of heaven, but not much, because he ran from him, didn't he? I fear the Lord God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land. And then the men were exceedingly afraid and said to him, why have you done this? For the men knew that he fled from the presence of the Lord because he told them. Then they said to him, what shall we do to you, that the sea may be calm for us? For the sea was growing more tempestuous. And he said to them, pick me up, throw me into the sea. There's the human solution to the problem of being able to go through it. Throw me into the sea. The sea will become calm for you, for I know that this great tempest is because of me. Nevertheless, the men rowed hard to return to land, but they could not. For the sea continued to grow more tempestuous against them. Therefore they cried out to the Lord and said, we pray, O Lord, please do not let us perish for this man's life. Do not charge us with innocent blood, for you, O Lord, have done as it pleased you. So they picked up Jonah and threw him into the sea, and the sea ceased from raging. The men feared exceedingly and offered a sacrifice to the Lord and took vows. You know what happened? God sent a holy submarine to pick them up. You know the rest of that story. I love that story of the pastor who was teaching Jonah in the children's church. And after reading the story of Jonah and the whale, he said, children, what do you learn from this? One little girl said, Pastor, it proves that even fish can't stomach a bad preacher. But learn this. There are clear repercussions for disobeying God. You think you can get away with disobeying God, but you can't. Revelation chapter 20 says it's all written down. And you can't get away from the Spirit of God when you claim to be a Christian. Now I want to share with you 6 things today that happened in this story. How do you know when you're out of the will of God? Number one, when you're out of the will of God, God will send a strong wind. Put that first slide up. How do you know you're out of God's will? God sends a strong wind. Look at verse 4. And a mighty wind began to blow. But it was a wind that was against them. Things began to get difficult. Things are not working anymore. It's a challenging wind. It's a contrary wind. Everything starts going wrong. Bob Seger used to sing that song, Against the Wind. Who knows the song? Okay, thank you, old people. We're glad you're here today. I started thinking I had gray over your head and you got rock and roll in your heart. Against the wind. We were struggling against the wind. I love that story of the pastor. Said to a young fellow in the church, teenager, came to him one day and said, Pastor, I'm dating this girl, but my mother doesn't like her. What do I do? He said, well, Pastor, so maybe you want to date a young girl that's just like your mother. And if you find a girl just like your mother, then she'll like you. A couple of months later, again, next time I found her. I found a girl just like your mother, that I like my mother, and my mother likes her. Pastor said, that's wonderful. The little boy said, not really, now my dad doesn't like her. Here's the question. How's the wind blowing? Every now and then, we've got to put our finger up in the wind spiritually and say, Lord, how's the wind blowing in my life? How's the wind blowing? You see, when you're out of God's will, let me tell you three winds that are going to blow your way. Number one, the wind of frustration is going to blow your way. They rode and rode and they couldn't get anywhere. Nothing was happening. They said that it got so tempestuous that they couldn't move and they would row, and finally they just gave up. It's going to start costing you. Frustration. Remember when King Saul tried to kill David? Well, that was out of God's will, wasn't it? Because David was God's will. And so King Saul started chasing him, he chased him all over Israel. Never could catch him because it wasn't God's will. As your frustration level rises in life, you need to put your finger up and say, well, maybe I'm getting the contrary wind because I'm out of God's will. Not only frustration, but fruitlessness. The second wind that'll blow is a wind of fruitlessness. In other words, you're banging your head against the wall and nothing has happened. There's no fruit in your life. No blessing. In the Bible, there's a thing called the devourer. You don't have to look that up. God says, I will if you tithe, I will rebuke the devourer. You ever notice sometimes your money just waves goodbye? How many had money wave goodbye? Well, we all have, haven't we? You know? Somebody said money talks. Yeah, mine said bye-bye. The devourer. Things just disappear. And you start realizing there's a fruitlessness in your life. But third, there's a burnout. Notice the burnout. They gave up. You start doing things in the flesh. And the more you do it in the flesh, the more you just can't. You finally give up and you're burned out. They came to that point, and they just surrendered to God's will. Listen, God allowed that wind to blow until they turned to Him. He allowed that wind to blow. What you need to do is check the winds, and if your wind is contrary, you need to reset your GPS. Do y'all know what GPS is? Why are most GPSs the voices of a woman? I don't know. I want a hillbilly voice. Y'all turn right. Don't y'all read that? Yeah. And a male voice. I wish I could write one for my son. Son, where are you going? But you need to reset your GPS. How many of you neglected your GPS and just went on the way you wanted? Got yourself in a mess. How are the winds blowing? Second thing, God not only sent a wind, God sent a word. He said a word. They said, where are you from? He said, I serve the living God. And finally stood up for God. God has sent the word in verse 1. Go to Nineveh and preach. God sends a word. And sometimes we've got to decide whether we're going to listen to God's word. Much of the trouble in our lives is for two reasons, right now. Much of the trouble in our lives, number one, we do not consider God's word. And number two, we're out of sync with God's word. Number one, you've got trouble in your life when you get out of God's will because you don't consider His word. I'll read something to you already. Something like that. You go to work assuming that you know what the day's going to be like without praying about it. You make financial decisions without prayer. You make vacation plans without prayer. You make career decisions without asking God. You go on dates, teenagers, and you haven't prayed yet about this person you're going out with. You're single, and you haven't talked to God about it. You know why? Because you're afraid of what God might say. You see, most of the time we want to live what we want, not what God wants. How much of this week will you go through without even actually thinking about God? And the reason we get off base is we don't even think about it. The second reason we get off base is not only is we don't consider His Word, but we're out of sync with His Word. God said to Jonah, go to Tarshish. He got on a boat going the opposite way. He was out of sync with God's Word. Which tells me that any time that I'm out of God's will, I need to stop and say, wait a minute, is there sin in my life? Is there something in my life that's out of sync with what God has commanded? Is there something that's wrong in my life? I love, how many remember Norman Vincent Peale? Raise your hand. You know Norman Vincent Peale? He used to love to tell a story about being a little boy and finding a cigar. He said, I want to be like the big people. He said, I went and found me a good place to hide. And he said, I lit that cigar up. He said, I was puffing away like a smokestack when the next thing I know, I see my dad coming toward me. He said this. He said, I got that cigar. He said, I put it behind my back. And he said, I said I'd get my dad distracted. He said, I was outside around the corner of the house, and he said, his dad walked up. He said, there was a sign across the street about a circus. He said, Dad, the circus is coming to town. Could I go to the circus? His dad said, son, learn this lesson. Never make a request when you've got a smoldering disobedience behind your back. Because the smoke was rising. Can't you see that? He said, I never forgot that. Why do we go to God without a request and we got a smoldering disobedience? There's a disobedience somewhere that's putting me out of God's will. You know, as pastor, I've had a lot of people get mad at me. I mean, I've had people get red hot at me. I've had people screaming, yelling. I've had people say things to me you wouldn't believe. And you know, I've always noticed one thing. A lot of times, the people that are angriest at me are out of God's will. And it's not me. It's just they're fighting, making a change in their life, and getting their life right, doing God's will. That's why I'm praying. It's not me. Search for sin and rebellion in your life. Seek a word from God. You need to get in the Word. If you're out of sync with the Word, you can get in the Word and say, we need to get this church in sync with God. I need to get my life in sync with God. And I don't want the winds to change in my life. Here's the third thing. God sent a wind. God sent a word. God sent a word. God sent a worry. Notice they began to worry. We're going to die. We're going to die. Have you ever noticed that worry was a nagging cloud, nagging at their spirit? They kept trying, yet it wouldn't go away. It was a nagging spirit. By the way, let me tell you what worry is. You know what worry is? Worry is bringing tomorrow's cloud over today's sunshine. Woo, put that on your refrigerator. Worry is tomorrow's cloud over today's sunshine. But they had something nagging at their spirit. I told you about me, how I got saved years ago. Let me tell you a story of one thing that led to my salvation. I remember to this day where I was when it happened. My next door neighbor was Marty Tilley. Marty and I were inseparable pals. I was about 9 years old, might have been 10, and Marty and I were walking up a hill one day, been playing out in the woods. We were walking up this hill. Marty said, I'm getting baptized Sunday. I've never heard that word before. I'm getting baptized Sunday. I said, you are? Yeah, I'm a Christian. I've given my life to Christ. I'm getting baptized. I said, well, okay. I didn't know what to say. But I remember that word suddenly got stuck in my spirit. It got stuck in my spirit for this reason. It told me there was something I hadn't done with God. That's what it meant. There's something you haven't done. You mean there's something I'm supposed to do? And it started nagging my spirit. There's something I'm supposed to do. Well, what am I supposed to do? What's this baptism? It shows me I hadn't done something. It was 10 years later. Brenda's talking to me on the phone, and she witnesses to me on the telephone. We were dating. And we hung up that conversation. And I said, I'm going to get a Bible, because I had just graduated from high school, and they gave a Bible out to every graduate. That was the day, folks, when they used to give Bibles to high school graduates. And I said, I'm going to get my old high school Bible they just gave me. I didn't know New Testament from Old Testament. I knew nothing about the Bible. I said, I'm just going to open this book and try to read something. Do you know, I opened the book. It said, repent and be baptized. And I immediately thought back to Marty on that hill that day. God took me to that very scripture on baptism again, saying, there's something you haven't done. God was still working on my spirit. Nagging me. Nagging me. Wasn't long after that I talked to the preacher about this, and I got saved and baptized. You know, I'll tell you a story that I like. Y'all like my stories. Listen. This is how I like to think about Scripture. Do you remember the rich young ruler? Rich young ruler, Jesus said, sell all and follow me. And the rich young ruler hung his head and walked away. I wonder if that's the end of that story. I wonder if that got to nagging that guy. And I wonder if you will remember when Jesus was arrested. Do you remember when Jesus was arrested? They grabbed some young man and he ran out of his clothes naked. He didn't even have any underwear on. All he had was what he was wearing. And I thought, I like to think, was that the rich young ruler? I wonder if that thing got to working on his mind. He says, I'm going to do it. I'm going to sell all and follow him. And I haven't got nothing but the clothes on my back because I'm following Jesus Christ. God's going to nag your spirit. He's going to hound you. He's going to send the wind. He's going to send the word. But he's going to send the word. Then third is fourth, he's going to send a wonder. Put the wonder over there. He's going to send a wonder. Something to cause you to stop and to think. Now, I didn't get into that scripture, but you know what the wonder was. He sent him a fish, a great fish. And in the belly of that fish, the gentleman got to thinking. The Bible said Moses saw a burning bush, a wonder. Wait a minute, what is this? Gideon had a fleece, a wonder. Paul the Apostle, when he was struck down the road to Damascus, he was blind for several days. God made him, listen, God put him in spiritual time out. Time out's a good thing. Sometimes God will put you in spiritual time out because he wants you to think. You got too much going on in your life to consider him. And so we give you a time to think. So I'd say this. When you're out of God's will, look for the wonders of God. Not look for the Word of God, but look for the wonders of God. By the way, let me tell you this story. This is for the men of the church. Men, listen to this. I have lost my wife at Walmart 100 times. How many men have lost your wife? Don't you have to walk 200 miles to find me? I have figured out how to find my wife at Walmart. It's so easy. One man told me how to do it. He said, Pastor, if you'll find the prettiest girl in Walmart and walk up and say, can I talk to you for a minute? He said, your wife will find you. She'll show up. It's a wonder. God's going to send you wonders. You know, I need a wonder in my life, don't you? But then fourth, fifth, whatever, God will send a remedy. God will send a remedy. That whale vomited him out on shore. Now notice there's two remedies here. There's the human remedy and there's God's remedy. Human remedy, in the flesh. Throw me in the water and make me pay. I've got to pay for my sin. Throw me in the water. That was human remedy. But God had another remedy. You know what it was? It was grace. That fish was grace. You can choose the human remedy or you can choose God's remedy. And this might be something for your refrigerator. Write this down. When I've done everything humanly possible, it's time to turn to God for the impossible. When I've done everything humanly possible, I've got to turn to God for the impossible. And God shows up. God sent a remedy to me. I had that nagging spirit. Baptism. You haven't done something. God sent me a word. And the remedy was confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus. Believe in your heart God raised you from the dead. You'll be saved. And I did that. And I was saved. But here's the greater news. God, number 6, sent him an opportunity. Wow. God will give you one more opportunity. Plan B. You need King Saul was God's plan A. David was plan B. And if plan A doesn't work, you fall back on plan B. And that fish vomited him out on shore near Nineveh. 3 days away. By the way, 3 days away, he got there in 1. You got another opportunity. That's what grace does. God gave Jonah a chance to rewrite his story and to do it a second time. And this time he said, this time I'm doing God's will. I've learned my lesson. Don't write yourself off because you've blown it 1 or 2 times. God's got grace for you. And he's got a second chance if you'll take it. Back during World War II, in New York City, Donald Barnhouse pastored Third Presbyterian Church. Donald Barnhouse had several soldiers coming through New York City saved. He tried to disciple them as best he could as they moved on during the war, but Dr. Barnhouse said he had one soldier that came to him at the end of the war, said, I'm on my way back home. I got saved here in your church. He said, but I'm afraid, Dr. Barnhouse. I'm going to go back into that culture of fallenness. I'm going to go back to my old friends and they were having me drinking and partying. He said, what do I do to protect my faith? Because I value the faith I have in Christ. What do I do? How do I stay in God's will? Dr. Barnhouse said, the same confession that saved you is the same confession that will keep you. If you will continue to make your confession. Notice, who are you, Jonah? Well, he said he was a Hebrew. He made a new confession. This is what that soldier said later. He said, Dr. Barnhouse said, go home and verbally confess Christ everywhere you go. He said, no sooner than I got off the train, I met a young girl. I went to high school with her. She said, it's great to see you. How you doing? He said, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. The girl said, are you engaged? He said, no, I found Christ. The young girl's countenance fell, and pretty soon she walked away. A couple of days later, read one of his old drinking buddies. Hey, man, glad to see you survived. Can't wait for a party. We're going to drink. We're going to have some fun. He said, no, let me tell you something. I'm accepting Jesus as my Savior. And he said, one by one, I met my friends, and I confessed Christ. I confessed Christ. I confessed Christ. He said, you know what? Those that didn't want Jesus to do his will faded away. He said, I've never had a problem with temptation at all because I kept my confession of Jesus alive. Some of you need to make that confession alive again. Keep your confession of Christ alive. And you'll stay in God's Word. Will. Some of you here today, you may be out of God's will. Sodom and Gomorrah got a second chance, and they blew it. Don't you blow it. Judas got a chance, and he blew it. But the prodigal son got a chance to come back to his father, enter into his home again, and he found grace that surprised him. I don't care how far you've fallen, there's grace if you'll come back. So here's the question. How are the winds blowing in your life? Is there a nagging in your spirit? Has God put you in spiritual timeout? Is God speaking His word to your heart over something? Are you in sync with the Word of God? It's time for you to step back into His will. This is your chance. Let's pray.